Good evening. Friday, January 21st, 2022. I'm not Walter Cronkite, but I'm Jesha Miller, petitioner of the Constitution's checks and balances, which is an essential part of the Constitution, absolutely necessary to stop government corruption. As I present to you once again, you can see this is the Constitution's checks and balances, and at the bottom there is a transfer of power. That transfer of power is for the disobedience in the checks and balances. One branch checks the other branch, checks the other branch, checks the other branch, being the legislative, executive, and the judicial branch of government. Being the petitioner of the Constitution checks and balances, I contacted my senators to take this to the floor, which is in writing on their paper. You can see Todd Young. And as it goes on to say, please provide detailed explanation of your concerns. President Joe Biden has concealed the checks and balances in violation of oath of office. The checks and balances Joe Biden has concealed when the entire judicial branch is corrupt is an essential part of the Constitution, absolutely necessary and extremely important. He cannot evade, ignore, or belittle. This is online at policebrutality.blogspot.com. President Biden hands tied. Mandatory by law. Janet Yellen owes $6.75 billion. Oppression means keep someone in subservience and hardship. Now, for all Americans, I'll give you an example of that. If you hit the lottery, they have to pay off. Well, government has committed criminal acts under Title 18, Section 241 and 1001, which is concealment of the Constitution checks and balances. How do you know it's concealment? You ain't heard this before. I'm telling you now. So, as I said, in this to Senator Todd Young, it says, please explain what you would like for Senator Young to do on your behalf. You see, they work for us. That's right. We elected those officials, and they work for us. In the magnitude of something like this, when I tell him to take it to the floor, and I'm now empowered to order him to take this to the floor, and he does not, in concealment, this is a criminal act. Title 18, Section 1001, concealment. But what I ask him for, which you can go to the video is best. We on your video right now, right? So, there it is right there at the bottom. I'm going to go real slow and you can put it on pause, but I'm going to read it for you right now. Call a press conference informing the public of the checks and balances. The checks and balances are the same as Watergate, which prompted Tricky Dick Richard Nixon to resign. Because the judicial branch imposed slavery, prohibited by the 13th Amendment. Last time I checked, America was the #1 authority on the right to freedom. So, you must address this. This is major. Oppression, denying the First Amendment right to speech press. That's our First Amendment right to speech press. That is how the citizens expose government corruption. Now we're going to get into that in another video where the media are indicted, just as Senator Todd Young is indicted. Now, and as it goes on to say, Treasury owes $6.75 billion immediately for the judicial branch corruption. President Joe Biden and Congress are obligatory both morally and by law for the checks and balances, which are mandatory to be proven before a candid world. That's right. I get to prove this before a candid world. The universe is about to see how we got our own freedom, justice, and equality in America. So, as on both sheets, this was submitted December the 8th, 2021, 12/12. They got the whole time and everything on here on this. So, beyond any shadow of a doubt, this being January the 21st, and that was December the 8th, that was over a month ago. Now, the checks and balances takes precedence over all matters. No matter what he's doing, drop that and get on this. He ain't done it. This is government corruption. That's why he's being indicted. Now, I also have a congressman, and this comes from his desk, from his office, on his stationery, so that you know, cry no tears, cause the senator and the congressman are indicted and will be arrested. And as for law enforcement, this is your job to do, execute it. This is an order, as I have the authority to give orders. As you will see, this is my name. The date on this is, I think it's December the 18th. Now, specify the problems you are having with the agency involved. When we tell our senators, our congressmen to do something, there is no other agency. This is what your job is to do. They work for us. Don't seem like it, right? Okay. First, you, Larry Bucshon, failed to take my petition using the checks and balances to the floor of the House. Do that today, December 16th. There it is dated. I figured it was. President Biden fails to address the checks and balances petition when the judicial branch is corrupt. Third, Treasury owes $6.75 billion for imposed slavery prohibited by the 13th Amendment. Oh, wow. And neither one of these officials did their job. So I emailed this to Senator Young. Take the Constitution checks and balances to the floor of the Senate tomorrow, January 20th, 2022. That was yesterday. Impose obligations for President Biden, whom has concealed this since February 8th, 2021. And you have delayed since December 8th, 2021. Take the Constitution checks and balances to the floor of the Senate, January 2022, which President Biden must address publicly for corruption in the judicial branch of government, imposing slavery, continued oppression, and organized crime. This organized crime is by the U.S. attorneys covering for the crooked judges. Makes sense, right? This imposed obligation takes precedence over all matters. Is the President Biden's number one duty under Article 2, Section 3, to faithfully see to it that federal laws are executed. Both you and President Biden are obligatory both morally and by law. Checks and balances uphold the integrity of the Constitution, requiring the judicial branch be checked and the Treasury disperse $6.75 billion for the judicial branch imposing slavery prohibited by the 13th and 14th Amendments. Refusal is what neither you, Senator Todd Young, can do, or the President Joseph Biden. Then both violate the law, his obligation, and trust to the American public. Article 2, Section 3 imposes obligations on the president, serves as a major limitation that the executive is under a duty to faithfully execute the federal laws and not disregard them. He done this for almost a year, disregarded them, as he has for the first year of office, which continued oppression. My status is that of a billionaire. I don't have a place to stay, enough money to live on, food to eat, medical, the essentials that you need. As you already see how I'm coughing. It ain't no COVID-19, I already been through that. But what that is, see, inside information, you have to upgrade your immune system. You get your vitamins and your vitamin C to upgrade your immune system. No money, I can't do none of that. Put me in a position of life and death, and it threatens my life without any of these things. So, as I said, he cannot disregard them. The checks and balances are essential to the Constitution, absolutely necessary to uphold the integrity. If they not checked, they ain't no integrity. If they can't be checked, I'll tell you what the book says, evil works in the darkness, but in which times it comes to light. Once again, the media is concealing this from the public so that it does not come to light, so that it continue oppression. Checks and balances is what it says it is. They have to be checked, and then we balance this out. All right, now the magnitude of this is President Andrew Johnson and William Clinton, y'all remember Bill, were impeached by the House, at least in part for allegedly violating their take-care duties. It says to faithfully see to it that the federal laws are executed. He's not doing that. He's not taking care. Okay? At a minimum, the president may neither breach federal law nor order his subordinates to do so. For this reason, Senator Todd Young is to take the Constitution checks and balances to the floor January 20, 2022. That was yesterday. He didn't do it. He's already been indicted. He has to be arrested. That is what law enforcement does. Law enforcement take note. You are ordered to execute these indictments, or else the system doesn't work. Veteran Jesha Miller supported irrefutable evidence, meaning impossible to deny or disprove, from the trial transcripts that Judge David Kiley imposed slavery prohibited by the 13th and 14th Amendments. Now, the Constitution itself does not allow President Biden to nullify laws, and in this case, the checks and balances are an essential part of the Constitution, meaning absolutely necessary and extremely important to uphold the integrity. They have to be checked. They refuse to be checked. That's what the whole thing is about, concealing their own corruption. Now, the criminals will say, hey, I didn't get to do that. No, nobody gets to do that. Okay? And as for essential, means fundamental, vital. Cardinal means so important as to be indispensable. Can't get rid of this. We gotta have this. I'm gonna tell you, before the Constitution was ratified, that means they signed the Constitution, putting it into law. The people had to have a way to secure their right to freedom. This is what the habeas corpus was for. The United States Supreme Court ignored the habeas corpus. Why? When it comes to the freedom of a black man, they don't care. And as they don't care, they're not upholding the law, not following the law, not conceding to the demands of the Constitution, and the entire branch of government is corrupt, and they must be checked. They know this. They know they call. My documentation affirms this to be facts, F-A-C-T, facts, that they did this, imposed slavery. Okay? So they try not to keep this from the public. And at the same time, there's continued oppression. This only started at $50 million. So if it escalated to $6.75 billion, they have no intentions of conceding to the demands of the Constitution, so they should not be officials, so they have committed criminal acts, Title 18, Section 241, conspiracy to deny rights. They still trying to deny black people the guaranteed rights to the Constitution. Along comes the Black Mac Daddy, oh, hey, and I got it like that. I'm so good. I'm empowered. Let's get it on. Law enforcement, take note. Now, Senator Todd Young is to take Veteran Jesha Miller. That's right, I serve to protect the rights of all Americans. So all America stand on this. Petition to the floor to the Senate tomorrow, January 20th, 2022, to be made public. See, I'm not hiding nothing. They hiding something. So I told you once again, if they got to keep it in the dark, they working in the evil. When you know that it's of the Creator, and you bring it to light, then it comes to fruition. Then you know that it's the hand of the Creator. And like I said, dispersed $6.75 billion owed for imposing slavery prohibited by the 13th and 14th Amendments. Now, there's that email, and he didn't do his job. Here it was a month ago, and he didn't do his job. There is no reason for law enforcement not to execute the indictments. Okay, you said the indictments, yeah. Filed in the federal courts. As I am empowered and have the authority to give orders, they have been indicted. Senator Todd Young at the top of the list, okay? All right? Yeah. So, indictments, Senator Todd Young, Mike Braun, and Congressman Larry Bucshon, because as I showed you, you also saw Congressman Larry Bucshon, who did not take this to the floor of the House and the Senate. So, for the indictments for imposing poverty, you see, when you had a status quo of a billionaire, I need that $1 billion. I got family to take care of. Hey, and that is what you call generational money. They gotta have what they need, what they want, from generation to generation to generation to generation. And don't be mad at nobody, because it was these officials who did not follow the law. As I said, the Treasurer did not do this. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen is also indicted, and these indictments must be carried out immediately. And media owners, because the media, such as 71425 local media, that would be 25 Bob Freeman, Simon Editor, Channel 44, Blaine Fentress, Channel 14, Celeste King. These are the assignment editors. They supposed to get this out there. I'm going to tell you the magnitude of this to all Americans. When the United States Supreme Court is found to be corrupt, you all must know this is a public concern that the government is corrupt. Here we have it. The indictments. And don't forget, President Joe Biden imposed obligatory. He has to do this. He was supposed to do it on the 19th. So if therefore passed on to the Senate to take this to the floor on the 20th so he can do that. Nobody does nothing around here. It's hard to find good work. But I'm the man to do it. I'm empowered to do that. I'm empowered. While they was doing this, I'm empowered to stop inequality. I'm empowered to stop police brutality. I'm empowered to stop social justice. And they want to continue these kind of evils against humanity. So, good evening. Walter Cronkite stepping out. But coming in the view. President Joe Biden this or your imposed obligations. Title 18, Article 2, Section 3. Yeah. Faithful citizens see to it that the laws are executed, the federal laws, of which he ain't done because he ain't addressed the checks and balances, which is mandatory by law, which uphold the integrity. If they can't uphold the integrity, they mean they crooked. People, all right, and students, get on the front line now, because this is what the president has to do. They cannot run a corrupt government, and that's what the whole Trump thing was about when they rushed Capitol Hill, and y'all remember, so here we go again. Now, students, you're on the front line. All law schools, the greatest law schools, yeah, Yale, Harvard, Stanford, yeah, Duke University, y'all want to get in this? All law university. Oh, wait a minute, this all public, all patriots, that's all Americans. Stand up on this. Let's go. Good evening. Walter Cronkite stepping out.